It's gonna be a quick video, and honestly, just my from the JJK biggest characters, Yuta Kofu, which honestly I think is the biggest is Satoru Gojo's biggest failure of the student. By failure, I mean to his ideas, not to strength of Satoru Gojo. Because if it was strength, then Yuta Kosu would be one of the best. But the thing is, Yuta Kosu doesn't know what Satoru Gojo wants. Satoru Gojo, in the manga, Satoru Gojo, before he falls to Kuna, he talked to Yuji Itadori. Yuji Itadori, or before he talked to many of the students. The one thing he said is not to be the next strongest in history, but to be the next strongest of you, or something along the lines of that. He wanted the students to be strong, but not strong as in him, but as strong as in them. Yuji Itadori became the best version of them. He wanted to be strong, but not to be the next Gojo strong. He wanted to be the next him strong. It might seem like, dude, I'm just talking about my mouth because I still haven't read the manga. Bringing over a lot of things going on, but I will read them soon. Overall, that's my thoughts on Yuto Hozo. I don't hate also, this is my thought on that. Also, his whole idea, whole thing in Jujutsu Kaisen, Jujutsu Kaisen. What I mean is like JJK. He is about one of the most. The thing is, let's talk about one of the biggest bombs in history. Megumi. The reason why I think Megumi is one of my favorites is not because his strength. His strength is really good. It's just he doesn't know how to use it. Because his idea of what he wants to be is what conflicts with that. His curse technique is not something he wants. He wants a support technique because he wants to be a supporting character to his ally. Multiple times he used these Shikigami's as a support tool, not as a fighting tool. The only time he did was against the Finger Bear in one bridge episode in season one or yeah, see, that's the problem. He didn't want to be a person with the Ten Shadows technique. He's strong, yeah, but he doesn't want to be a strong person with the most greatest technique. What he wants to be is the person that supports his team, and that goes with his ideas. He wants to support people he wants, be it Gojo, be it sister, be it Yuji Itadori or Nobuko Kugisaki. He doesn't care about being known out there. Because the analogy of in one season is that he didn't go for a try. He goes for a butt and supports his team, which doesn't really help him as a jujutsu sorcerer, but Udo Satoru said. That would make him interesting. It's not the fact that his family is really the most really interesting. It's the fact that is what he wants was so interesting to what his CT is. His CT is supposed to be the strongest next to the two ever strongest, be it the shrine or the infinity, which is one of, if not the most, one of the most interesting points about Megas. It makes it really one of the reasons why I like Megumi as a character, not as a fighter, because he does is represent himself more than any any other. Because Because multiple times in the story, even after the Shibuya arc, he does is, you know, stay with those ideas. The only main times I got, and I think that's also why, what was I gonna say? That's also kind of why I hate Yuta Koto. It's because he's just has the most boring ass character. By character, I mean he doesn't really seem interesting. By interesting, I don't mean strong interesting. I mean character-wise interesting. People like Yuji as the main character because he is interesting as the main character. Unlike Yuta Kotsu, which, let's be honest, not the best main character in the ever. Well, I feel like I'm going to talk about more, but there is a reason why. Megumi is a fun-ass character when it comes to fighting, but a great-ass character, a good-ass character when it comes to his whole ideals and character arc. Because the thing is, he is not really resolved like most characters in JTK. You can see that once Sukuna took over. He honestly felt so much regret hurting Yuji Itadori. Of course, I think before he got into the bath, he fought his own sister that got taken from Yurizu. The way that Sukuna used it, I think he did took an evil bath before he fought his sister, before Sukuna fought his sister, which pretty much makes someone in the depths of despair or something like that. Pretty much overwhelming with a lot of negative curse energy and negative thought. Then when Sukuna used his own technique to kill his sister, only his own technique, that made him go into despair. Of course, fighting Gojo, who pretty much fought the figure, killing him, right back further down, to the point where the only way he was saved was the fact that Yuji was there trying to save him so much time and use his own domain extension. Which Yuta was to try to do was a plan around that and really try to make Megumi, you know, do something. But the thing is, Yuta Goju is a great plan. He just doesn't know. He's a good plan. He just doesn't know anything the people playing. If Megumi did do it, they would have won easily. And now, the thing is, Megumi, Yuta Kosu doesn't realize about like Megumi's relationship with many of the people he has killed. Many of the people Yuta Kosu was trying to do was plan with a person that is like Yuji, not a person that's like Megumi. A person that already lost everything but still keeps fighting because he has everything to fight for. Well, Megumi, a person that legit lost two of its family members, technically, and even does, he's in the depths of despair where it's not easy to get out of. And because Megumi didn't have to deal with so much despair like Yuji Itadori did, he couldn't do it. And especially with the evil bath Sukuna did, and the fact that Megumi isn't made to be Sukuna's vessel, you can tell by the fact that Megumi didn't really help Yuta Kosu, that it really didn't work. The thing is, I don't hate that Yuta Kosu didn't plan for that. I just hate the fact that people. I think the reason why I hate that is that people are like, oh yeah, Megumi was a clone because he didn't do Yuta Kosu's plan. Like, yeah, he didn't do Yuta Kosu's plan because he lost everything. No, like by everything, I mean actually everything. I think that's the best example of what Yuta Kosu doesn't know is the fact that he plans with something in mind, but doesn't realize that plan needs to be for someone that doesn't lose any. That's why I don't like Yuta as a character. I don't hate him because he's not wrong when it comes to fighting. He's just wrong when it comes to understanding Which is, what he is as a character is pretty much closer to OC than an actual character in Jujutsu Kaisen. But he lost a friend and he had to suffer a lot and blah blah blah. Yeah, that is very sad. But the thing is, it gets resolved so easily. And it gets pretty much never mentioned again by him. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it never gets mentioned unique, real way by him. That it pretty much is forgotten. That's what I hate about Yuta. His cruise technique is a really cool cruise technique. His fighting is really cool. What he wants to do, the fact that he has freak. But the thing is, it is really annoying trying to justify his character when he's barely even a character worth mentioning. Noburo Kokisaki, a character that Legion doesn't even have that much free time, pretty much doesn't get mentioned as much. Joe has the most interesting part about not interesting, just the most somewhat interesting character development. I never once saw anyone talk about his Yuta Kotsu character development in JJK manga. He only gets a development in one season, which shouldn't be the reason why. He was supposed to be the next MC, and I think the Gege's best thing is that he didn't make Yuta Okosu a MC. Because the thing is, with Yuta Okosu as the MC, it would have ruined everything about JJK. Let's talk about many of the characters. Sukuna, Gojo, Yuji, Megumi, Maki, Todo. Well, not main characters, I inserted at the total part. But like many of the characters have unique stories and unique parts about them. Sukuna legit had a couple episodes to where you understand his idea. Or like many not a couple episodes, many manga panels where you can see his unique ideals and what he thinks about everything. Well, also Yuji and Gojo had that too. Thing is, I think the most annoying part about it is that no one ever talks, no one ever knows about these characters if they don't read fully. The thing is, I want to read it fully. I won't read it. It's just a way that people don't understand. Megumi is a fun fighting, but a great character writing. Well, Yuta Okosu is great in fighting. He's probably one of the best when it comes to his styles, but a bum when it comes to his character development. When it comes to character. That also applies to many other characters in JJK, but the thing is, many characters in JJK have great stories about them. Even the minor villains like Mahito, I think had great character development. Mainly to where you want to actually read about them, not just know a little bit about them. I think Yuji Itadori just showed the best about everything. Let me talk a little bit more. So that's why I think Yuta Okosu is not my favorite character in JJK. It's because his writing just sucks. Because like we see, not a JJK character. There is many characters in JJK that are not main characters that have better writing. See, you might say, well, he had a bad past. He's like this and that. The thing is, there's a difference between a good written character and a bad written character. Your character can be OP, but you can also be well written. There's many characters that are not well written that are OP, which is probably the thing in Yuji, the thing in Yuta Okosu's place. He's very powerful. He just isn't well written. He doesn't have that much. He doesn't feel like a character. I mean, he doesn't feel like a character that you should be interested in. There is characters like the villains, Kinjaku, the fucking personification of evil itself. At that point, there is Sukuna, the personification of what happens when you treat someone only in the regard to their strength, everything about them. There's a Ramen where pretty much the only person that could be around her was Sukuna, so she was just going to be evil. And there's Naito, the personification of humanity's pulse upon everything. There's also Haname, Jogo, and like Tochi, which his character is legit being a deadbeat that cares. The only reason why he's a deadbeat is because if he was around, he would have been more of a burden on his own family. That isn't the way you should write the character. I think that's what Gege's intention was with Itokosu. He was going to write him really well. The thing about it is that Gege was either so rushed that he couldn't do it, he was so rushed that he couldn't even do what he wanted to do. And honestly, that is the reason why I hate Itokosu. Why I really love clowning on Itokosu. Not because he's a bum in fighting, because he's a bum in writing. I don't think I will get hate for this because it honestly, it's just it's an opinion. But like, if they did more of Itokosu's character, I would just call Megan a fucking bomb. But Itokosu's character is really just enough shit to understand. Now, anyways, I think there's more I'm going to talk about. Oh yeah, um, there's one. We're talking about Jewel chapters being like, we might get more insight into Yuta Kozu's character, what he has been. When he was like, when he was after JJK. So there may be some writing beats that will actually change my opinion. Anyways, this has been my opinion on Yuta Kozu as a character, and many of the JJK's characters, many characters on JJK. Many of what makes me like him, what makes me like Gege's writing style. Anyways, see you all later, and goodbye.